Hey, how you doing? We're back here on today with yours truly, Coach Cole and the HBCU Stroll. Before I bring my guests on, I wanted to inform people this weekend, North Carolina A&T had an opportunity to be the second black team to win a predominantly white conference. They played against Gardner Webb, and they fell short. They fell short of being the second black college football team to win a conference. All right, let's go over to uh, the MEAC conference, where there's North Carolina Central, who won the conference, but Howard was able to tie them at 4-1 in the conference. But because North Carolina Central beat Howard head to head, North Carolina Central will represent the MEAC in the challenge between the winner of the SWAC uh, conference and the winner of the MEAC, which is the bowl game in Atlanta. Uh, they finished, North Carolina finished number one, Howard finished number two, Delaware State finished number three at 2-3, 5-6, Morgan State, Norfolk, and bringing up last was last year's national champion, South Carolina State, who finished 1-4 in their league and 3-8. Now over to the SWAC conference. Wow, there was some things going on there. Of course, everybody knows that Jackson State finished 11-0. Alcorn State played them very, very good, but was unable and came up short. But over in on the west side, man, you had a possibility of four teams having the same record: Prairie View, Southern, Texas Southern, and Alcorn. Texas Southern was sitting in a very, very good spot because the only team on their side that they lost to was Prairie View, which Prairie View ended up losing to Southern and Alcorn. And then Southern lost it only to Texas Southern, but beat Prairie View and Alcorn. And it went like this: Prairie View goes down to Mississippi Valley, loses big to Mississippi Valley, who at that time only had one game, and they lost 27-7. Texas Southern going into the fourth quarter had Alabama A&M 20-3, and a fumble by quarterback Body. He got injured on that game. That play had to go out of the game. Alabama A&M catch fire and scored 21 points in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left, and was able to beat Texas Southern. That loss to Texas Southern had knocked them clear out of the championship. Now we're waiting on the game between Southern University and Grambling. And if Southern goes on to beat Grambling, then they will knock Prairie View out for the representation. So Coach Dooley, hats off go to you. Hopefully you can get it done. If not, Coach McDowell, first year coach, will definitely get it done. Um, Speaking of just the coaches on that side, you had first year coach Eddie Robinson Jr., who will for sure his first year have a winning season. He's got Arkansas Pine Bluff at the Turkey Day Classic. You got first year coach Hugh Freeze at Grambling. He finished right now at 3-7. Of course, everybody knows he throws the records out when you play in the Bayou Classic. So didn't do well, but did good enough. Of course, you had first year Southern, Coach Dooley, who if he wins, he will take Southern University from being in the midst of last year to actually the championship game, and that makes Coach Dooley playing the championship games 2 years in a row with two different teams. And of course, Bubba McDowell in his first year at Prairie View was successful this year. and he finished with a winning season. So that's the SWAC championship. I'm waiting on my next guest to get into the. Oh man, he's there. My next guest, uh, truly a SWAC man, had played for Howard University, played in the pros, played in the World Football League. Everybody knows him as Flea. Coach Gary Harrell, who's currently now I say the man behind the man, Jackson State's assistant head coach and running back coach, Harrell Flea. Gary Flea Harrell.
There
What's
you go.
going on, man?
Not much, man. Just trying to maintain and stay on course as we continue this championship run.
Yeah, I tell you, the last three games, people, of course, being a champion yourself from Howard University, you got to get up every week because everybody gonna have their A game, and it seems like everybody y'all last 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, they had their A game on.
Absolutely. Those past opponents you're talking about, played us tough from last week opponent down in Alcorn. You throw out the records when it comes to the Soul Bowl. Some teams came in here and played us tough. They made it real gritty. They made sure that they weren't gonna make it pretty. It's gonna make sure we earn every yard. Uh, Take away something, either the passing game or the run game. Alcorn did a great job as far as stacking the box and brought some pressure, did some stunts, some twist game, got the safeties involved in the run game, and the DBs outside played well in the passing game. So I think the environment, their fan base made it a tremendous game. Also, just everything involved. It was a great atmosphere, a great game, and we was fortunate to come out to win.
Right. Without a doubt, you played at Howard. You guys went undefeated, played
Yes,
very well. Coach Jay Walker, I'd be missed if I don't say his name. Jay Walker played quarterback. I seen y'all play. Of course, I was over at Tennessee State, and we were also with you guys in the runnings for the Black College National Championship. And at that time, they just chose one. They
right.
didn't. They didn't play,
That's
and
right.
so I understood that you know what it is and where you are. Does it surprise you guys that you guys went 11 and 0?
It's hard to win college ball games. Period. Got some great players, great coaches, great programs. You got to keep the guys focused. Injury plays a part. There's always a little bit of luck as you go week to week. Am I surprised? No, because this is what we set our goals. This is what our standards. Every week we plan and we have intentions on winning. But we know it's not easy. We know we're fortunate to be where we are. Each week we just try to make sure we go out and represent Jackson State football. And the next week just try to go 1-0, and it just
Yeah,
take it week by week.
yeah. I'm gonna kind of justify why I say you the man behind the man. It's
Mhm.
because of your past. You come out of Northwestern High School,
Yes,
one of the best football high schools in Florida.
that's right. That's
Coach Roll and all those guys. That's where I know it from him. I'm pretty sure I don't know if you played under him,
I
but
did.
oh man, I mean, athlete after athlete after athlete. I had the opportunity to recruit down there as well. And as you came out, was you a top player at Northwestern? Because back then, I think when you came out, they called it blue chippers. Now
Yes,
they give you a star.
you're
And of
right.
course, when I came out, hell, you just was a player.
That's
You was
right.
either good or you wasn't good.
That was it, man. I
So what
won.
star? What star you give yourself?
Man, I won a blue chipper, man. If I had to put myself in how they rank guys today, I'd rather earn my stars from practice and from the streets. I don't want it from the gurus. I want to earn that 4 and 5 stars from my peers, from guys that I play with in the neighborhoods in practice. That's where you really know who's the real football player. And I want a blue chipper coming out, but I was one of the best receivers coming out that year out of Miami Northwest. And like I said, we have tons of talent. And I think it shows today. I'm going into the Hall of Fame at Northwestern, so
Wow.
I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Man, congratulations on that,
I appreciate
Gio.
that.
So then Northwestern just don't choose black colleges,
Right.
because you guys are being recruited by Miami, Florida,
That's
Florida
right.
State. That's just right there in Florida.
That's
South,
right.
I don't even know if South Florida was in existence then.
Nah,
I
nah.
know Florida National wasn't.
We only had the big three.
And you jumped over all them schools, Clemson, Vanderbilt, SEC, ACC, and went to Howard. How did that happen?
Well, I would say all those schools, jumped over me. I
Hmm.
think I did myself justice by putting myself in position academically and on the football field, and I always kept my name clean for when that moment came to hopefully receive a scholarship. But I wanted to stay in the state of Florida, but the big three, Florida State, Miami, Florida, and then even FAMU and Bethune, I guess because of my size, they didn't feel comfortable with my size. And actually, real quick, my story is, Colorado actually offered me, and that's where I committed. I committed to Colorado, and then about 3 days before signing day, they changed their mind. So I was kind of out there, because I committed early to Colorado early, and a lot of teams I turned away because I was sold. I was already made my mind up, and then once they pulled the offer back, I was looking, and then Howard came out back in May when all the scouts and recruits come back out to see what's out there, and they found that I was still available. And Reuben Carter, he came and did a home visit and sat with my mom. At that time, I was fed up with recruiting. I just didn't trust it. And after the conversation, she chose Howard because of the academic side. Didn't know much about the university, never saw the campus, but she chose it because of the academic side. And I said, okay, that's fine, let's go. And once I got there, the rest was history.
Now, how many siblings do you have? Brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I got one. I got a sister. She's
Okay,
actually 10 years apart,
okay.
born on the same day, but 10 years apart, January 23rd, which is crazy. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I don't
That's
know how
interesting.
mom planned it, but she did a great job.
So you leave Northwestern High School, little deterred, headed to Howard University. Howard had really wasn't really known just to be kicking butt
Right,
over there in the MEAC.
right.
Florida A&M, Bethune Cookman, of course, And next thing you know, you started as a freshman, huh?
Started as a true freshman. I came in, like I said, I had a chip on my shoulder. Not saying that I felt like I didn't deserve something bigger, but that's where I wanted to be once I got there. But I had something that was deep down inside of me that motivated me. Actually, I had my first child, my daughter was being born, and so I just wanted to get in, and graduate on time and do what I need to do to try to provide a future to provide for my daughter. And then,
Now,
so I went in and jumped on it right away. And Steve Wilson named me the starter from probably after maybe a week of practice. I started receiver, and punt return was always my second nature as far as being able to do it. And I started at punt return, made All American as a freshman at punt return. But I think it was the right fit for me, the right people around me, the right staff, the right area, community. It was how it was just perfect for me
yeah,
as a young man.
y'all had a heck of a coordinator,
Yes.
Pep.
Yeah.
I was like him for a while. People don't understand. And Pep's an African American.
Yes.
He's been in the league. I think he's still in the league today.
Yes.
And I had opportunity one year to fly out to Washington D.C. and they had like a clinic.
Hmm.
Steve Wilson, Pep, all these guys, and all y'all pretty much kind of run the same system out there.
Same
But
system.
it was a great learning experience for me. But talk about Pep and what he means to you.
Well, you got to go back to Steve Wilson, man, who means a lot to not only myself. You got Pep Hamilton.
Yeah.
You got Roy, who's been in coaching. He was a quarterback coach. He does a great job with coaches. Roy Anderson was a coach with the Vikings for many years, Baltimore Ravens. Pep Hamilton, Ted White. But that's how he teaches us as players the game. And then we all had an opportunity to sit in the room with him, like you said, in clinic with him once we hung the cleats up. And he really taught us the X and O's as far as the in and outs of how to go about teaching and learning the game. But Pep Hamilton was always, as a player, Pep was like 2 years behind me, but he was always a coach while he was a player. And you could see it in him, the way that he went about preparing for the games, he would always just think differently than how we saw the game. And by the time he became a senior, it was rough being behind Jay Walker because Jay Walker was an outstanding quarterback. So that next quarterback very rarely got an opportunity. But Pep, he did a great job as far as being in a position to learn the material and being able to digest it, to be able to teach it. So once he finished his eligibility, he turned right into the seat as far as being a coach. And I mean, it fit him. That's always been his nature as far as being a player's coach.
Yeah, yeah. Now you played every down for 4 years.
Every down,
Every
every
down for 4 years. Man,
every
that's incredible.
it was a blessing. It was
And
a blessing.
and 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 as they would say, you're a little man, and people understand football is football.
That's right.
You know. Now there are certain positions that you gotta have size
You gotta have size.
in the
Yep.
interior line and in the box. You gotta have some size. But those skill positions are open.
It's
It's all about the heart.
about the size of the heart, man, and that's why I play the game. At 5'7", I play the game as a 6'2" receiver. As far as hot pointing the ball, when the ball came in my hand, I made folks miss. I wasn't gonna run you over, but I made sure that when the ball was in my hand, man, I played the game with such much tenacity, because I always wanted to just destroy that person in front of me, defeat him, and
Right.
that's was my intake on the game of football.
Now my understanding is you still hold a record today of 13 receptions in one game.
I still hold that record. I just
And
I
huh?
I had the entire reception record, and I think that got broken by maybe 4 years ago. I had the most
Yeah,
reception in Howard history, also.
yeah, yeah. So what made you get into coaching, coach?
Man, I never thought about it, John. To be honest, it was something that I never really felt that I would be doing. When I started playing professional football, I had a chance to play with the New York Giants for about 3 years, and I went overseas, played in the World League football when that was in existence, and I played Canadian football. So
Mm-hmm.
from 93 to 97 was my professional career. Once I had the injuries and the injuries, I came back home, and I would say, man, I was trying to find myself. I was trying to find that next step. And I love the lifestyle I was living. I love the money I was making, and I try to live in that same category. And I was just trying to figure it out. And it took me about a year or two, and I kind of fell back on my degree and went to through this program at Home Depot. Within 6 months, 9 months, I became the manager of a Home Depot. So I ran an entire Home Depot. Money was good, benefits was good, stock options. I did that for about 4 years, and the retail business was tough because I didn't like the hours. It wasn't me,
Right,
but it was a living. It was a way to provide for my family.
right.
And true story, Ray Petty, who was a defensive coordinator at Howard when I played at Howard. I was in Miami in Opelika going to an ATM machine to withdraw some money. On my way back, I bumped into Ray Petty, who I haven't seen since I left Howard in '94. And we started talking. He just said, hey, he was at Norfolk State at that particular time. He said, I'm about to get the head job at Howard. Would you come coach the wide receivers? I thought about it. I mean, it didn't hit me because it wasn't my dream.
Right.
But I needed a change in life. I needed something to get me on a different path, and I took the opportunity. I
Yeah.
did that in 2002. But once I got into it, I fell in love with it, and I knew that was my calling to be a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I want everybody to know that once again, I probably say it two, three more times. There's a man behind the man that had experience at the head coaching realm.
Yes.
So looking at your career, you jump around, and
Yeah.
that says a lot of people have a lot of respect for you. And then
Yeah.
so you leave Howard and come to my alma mater
Yes. Yes. I
under
would try it.
Steve,
Yes.
and it was and I'll speak for my alma mater. It was unfair for Steve when he got there.
I
He
got.
was he was climbing uphill, not from his doing,
I
from
understand.
all the damage that was there with all the violations and
Yes.
players ineligible and didn't know whether he was coming or going. And I think they really, really did him unjust. As a
Yes.
matter of fact, it was between me and him that was going to get the job.
I recall that. I remember.
And pretty much it's almost like I'm glad he got it. But at the end, I
Time,
got a taste of it too in '09, '10.
time is
So,
everything.
and I understand that before him, it was Bill Thomas.
Right.
and a
Right.
lot of things went wrong
That's right.
and was nowhere anybody to clear. So I want to make sure uh, uh, that to give that out to Steve Wilson because I got the utmost respect for him
No doubt about
and
it.
his body of work.
Hmm.
That he was climbing uphill battle. So you jumped to Texas Southern, and
Yep.
then you jumped again. After
Stayed up
1 year, you go to Florida A&M.
here. Yep.
Wow. Then you leave Florida A&M and go to Morgan State. Was that getting you back near home?
Right. That's right. Well,
Well, your home is Florida.
home is Florida. Home is
Right.
Miami. But I had a plan, and when I was at Howard for 2 years, I think I did those all those places was 2 year span. But
Okay.
when I was at Howard, I kind of knew after year one what I wanted to do, and I felt like I needed to learn the game more. And it's amazing how life it works. When you got people in your life as a young man, and then as you're making that transition, when you have those same people in your lives helping you on your new path, it's amazing. Like I said, Ray Petty was a defense coordinator at Howard, gave me my first job to
Yeah.
get into it. Steve Wilson been my mentor and still is my mentor, was at Texas Southern. And I had to leave Howard to go to Texas Southern to learn more about the game. I knew if I was in the same room with him, it wasn't about winning. It was about what I can absorb and learn from him. Now, when I left Steve Wilson, I went to Reuben Carter, who sat in my living room and took me from Miami to Howard. So these three men early in my coaching career really helped me develop. From Steve, I learned the game as far as X and O's. From Reuben Carter, I learned the structure. He was a very military guy, so I learned the structure of the game. And then from there, we pretty much got let go at FAMU, and I joined Dunhill Ealing at Morgan State to keep things going and continue to learn from a guy known for a long time and I had respect for. And then from there, I wanted to be a head coach, and I applied for the Howard job at the time. And I was told I needed more experience. I needed more coordinator experience. So I took a step in some eyes as far as going from Division One AA D2. I went from Morgan State to Bowie State just to get that coordinating experience. And I wanted to stay close in that area because I desperately wanted to be the head coach at Howard University. In
Right.
those 2 years, we ended up in the CIAA championship as a
Okay.
coordinator. So we did some great things offensively in the
How
school.
how is how is Bowie? Does Bowie sit in a good recruiting? Because Bowie is always good. It
Oh,
seems like they always good.
yeah, it's a
Now they
great.
kind of stumbled this year under the new leadership because my guy left late. But
Yes,
but usually they always good.
always good. That's a great place. That's one of the part of the best kept secret in the country. You're talking about PG County, and you're talking about the African Americans that does well financially, career wise, and it's just in a
Hmm.
great area. It's a great place to go to school, and the student body population is great, administration is great. I had a great time. That was my best 2 years as far as being a coach, an assistant coach.
Yeah,
I loved
because
it.
Coach Frazier comes out of Bowie
Yes,
as well.
crazy. Yes,
You
yes.
know,
It's a great
who's
place.
now a doctor and he's worked Dr. Frazier, what I
That's
should
right.
say, and he's the head coach at Virginia State.
Yes.
You know, so you went Bowie, you got your offensive coordinator experience, y'all two-time CI double A champions, and here
Yeah.
comes Howard. Knock, 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 knock.
Yes, right. I actually went and did the knocking. I tried to be the head coach, and they hired a new AD, and he had his guy. I mean, you probably know the name, Jerry Mack.
Yeah.
The trustee gave him opportunity to choose his guy. He chose Jerry Mack, but he said he would like for me to become an OC at Howard, but that was my aspiration. I was already an OC at Bowie State. I wanted to be a head coach, but in life you got to set path. On your own. You gotta burn your own trail and put yourself in position. So luckily, while I was at Bowie State, I met a lot of prominent people. I had an opportunity to meet the president at that time, Frederick Rabeau. I'm sorry, Sidney Rabeau. Sidney Rabeau was the president at the time. I went to a lot of functions. We sat down and had numerous conversations. And when he heard that I was interested in the job, he called me in and we had a conversation in his office about maybe 2 hours. And at the end of the conversation, Dr. Rabeau called the AD and said, "This is a guy I want to be the head coach at Howard University." And that's how I got the job. I didn't have to go through all the other things as far as to the board of trustees. He felt comfortable enough through the conversation and things that I was saying, that I was the right guy for the job for the program.
Right. I say today that people put together committees to try to choose a head coach. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna choose the wrong guy.
He's the wrong guy.
You know,
That's right.
and to go through all that, you got to go and sit down with a man and talk to
That's
him and
right.
look at his eyes
That's
and see
right.
what his heart is. You
That's the
take
best.
Howard to 20-36. You had a good winning season there.
Yes.
I think 7-4, one of your best seasons. And then you leave there and you head on down to Florida Atlantic, down there with Kiffin.
Lane
Coach,
Kiffin.
Lane
Lane
Kiffin.
Kiffin. And that was good for me. Being a head coach. I'm sure you do 6 or 8 years as a head coach. That's a long time. That's a good run. So my course, I ran my course at Howard, and it was time for a change. They wanted to change, and luckily I was able to get closer to home with Lane Kiffin and just to see something different. HBCU was very instrumental in my life, was big in my life, and it still is. I'm an HBCU guy. I love HBCU, but to get on that side and see how things are done differently at the PWI, from a Lane Kiffin who had previously worked for Nick Saban, gave me an opportunity to see a lot of things I can do differently once I become a head coach again. Like I said, once I become a head coach again, as far as the structure of practice, the things you do within between meetings, it's just a lot of things you can do, the small details that give you an opportunity to have a special program to build that culture.
Right.
And that's what I was able to bring here with Coach Prime. A lot of things I learned in FAU, I brought here from the schedule part of it, how we do things, just to get things going. And through the conversations with him, he put some of his own twist on it, and we just had a good collaboration. And now the way we go about the structure of practice, how we travel, meet, just make sure that we definitely have all the kids we need at a particular time. I'm sure when you
Right.
coach it on a certain level, it's hard to get kids because the classes have your whole team at one particular time. But we don't have those issues because we have a great administration that works with us and understand what we're trying to get done. When give the kids a fair opportunity to be a student athlete, give them a chance to do both.
Yeah, and that's the thing about coaching in black college. And in
Hmm.
my view, uh, some of the guys who's there choosing as head coaches don't get the training. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
And it's so many sides to coaching HBCU. You got to have the mind frame
Gotta
of
have.
going in it to create and make things happen how
That's
they supposed to look. It ain't necessarily a white thing or a black thing.
no.
It's structures. It's,
That's
it's
right.
how things supposed to be. And but what happens is you get these guys that's being head coaches today think that it's all about X's and O's.
Hmm.
And and really that's the good side of
That's
it.
right.
It's everything that goes before you get there. And
Everything.
that's one of the things that of course, you guys are all over the media, so you can see everything you have. And I have to say, coach, the DJ in the locker room,
It's
man,
different. I don't think anybody can pull it off, man, because we're so stuck in the old traditional ways, man. We're so
right,
afraid of change. We're so afraid if it don't work, what someone else will say. But that's just not Coach Prime. He gonna do what he feel, and the kids are having fun, man. I'm telling you, it's like a lot of things we do are very untraditional, very
right,
unorthodox.
right,
But if it works, it works, and that's what we're all about, finding what works.
right. So Coach Prime went out. He was, I wouldn't say injured. He had a health issue with his foot. And man, bam, you sitting back in the head coaching spot. Was you expecting it? Did you guys talk about it? And I'm pretty sure you talked about it afterwards. He found out what was going on.
Yeah, afterward, not leading into because we just didn't know the magnitude of the situation that he was dealing with.
Hmm.
Brian was a very private guy. When it
Hmm.
comes to his family life, when it comes to things that's dealing particularly to him, and we knew that it was an issue, but we just didn't know the severity of it. And
Right,
he has a high pain tolerance, so you just never know when he's in pain or when he's struggling. But it just came to a certain point where the people around him had to convince him, like, Coach, we got to take care of this particular issue.
yeah,
And
yeah,
once he did go see the medical people, they also expressed the same interest.
yeah,
And he finally understood what was going on and made the call and say, hey, I got to take care of myself. And he felt good. He said, Coach Flea, you got it. And he
right,
felt good that I would do it the way that he would do it, the way that we always discuss. Because every morning we sat down and discussed the schedules. Every morning we sat down and discussed the program. So I had the opportunity to really get inside his head to
Right.
see things how he see things. And then one thing I was not going to do is change how he did things. And I think that gave me an opportunity to have success because I did exactly how I knew that he would run a program from day to day.
Yeah, yeah. That had to be an exciting
Yeah.
time for you because you guys didn't drop off.
No.
You kept rolling, and I always thought when I first heard about it, I said, well, a man that can run a 4.1 and a 4.2, he got to stop. So if you go that fast, I understand. I'm
That's right.
surprised it didn't happen on both feet. You know, and then the high stepping and the
Oh, that's
tiptoeing
right. That's right.
and all that kind of
Knowledge
stuff.
on
But
the foot.
without a doubt, man, everybody knows that he's one of the best athletes. I put him under. I put him with Jesse Owens
Yeah,
and your Muhammad Ali
that's right.
and those type. You got to your Bo Jacksons.
He's
You know,
special.
he's one of those. He's one of those guys that the good Lord did a little more touching.
I'm telling you, he's special.
Yeah. So man, you guys are sitting at 11-0.
Hmm.
You're waiting on who you're gonna play because they hadn't decided yet, right?
Not
Depends
yet.
on what Southern is gonna do.
Yeah, depending on what Southern do, they go take care of business in Southern. If not, then maybe Prairie View. So we just sit back and wait and just try to take care of what we need to take care of. We got a lot of issues, a lot of things we got to fix in house.
Yeah. One of the things y'all will be playing at home
Hmm.
at Jackson. So whoever will be coming back up, and you guys already have faced Coach Dooley. So all
Yes.
you gotta do is go back to the old film.
But I know Dooley, he gonna make some changes, man. But like you said, man, this is. I mean, you done been in the swag. You get to that point in swag championship, man. A lot of kids, a lot of you see a difference. You see a different motivation. So I mean, we got to make sure we show up because we got two worthy opponents. Bubba McDowell's doing a great job at Prairie View. We didn't face them this year, so that will be a good matchup. But we know Southern is Southern, and Southern folks are coming with them also. So it'll be a great environment. And it's any given Saturday, man, that you got to make sure that you bring your A game.
Now, Coach, I gotta ask you, being a coach, I got a lot of coaches call me and ask me, and of course, Prime Time have came in and did his thing.
Yeah,
Uh, I tell him he Muhammad Ali the league. He said I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna win and I'm
uh,
gonna win like this.
that's right. That's right. That's what he did.
And some say he saved the conference, which I got in question.
Okay.
I wouldn't use the word save.
Right.
I would say use the word of put a light on it.
That's right. I like
Because
that.
a lot of great people like yourself,
That's
I played in the SWAC.
right.
Coach Mike Strahan.
That's
I
right.
played against Jerry Rice, Willie Totten, Jay Walker. All the greats came out of
That's right.
uh, you know. I think that was overboard.
That's right.
That we've always had great players in this conference.
Always. No, I mean,
Always.
just black college football. Period. I think he came in. I think he showed. I mean, I think he shared the right word as far as shine a light. He exposed a lot of things that we always knew
Right.
from being from the inside. Jackson State didn't do anything different that has not been done. Now we got a great fan base. So the fans gonna follow, win, lose, or draw. Before we came, they averaged about 25, 30,000. We just enhanced that. We put a
Right.
spotlight. So we do different things, DJs in the locker room, how we travel. We just bring more excitement to
Mhm.
to the matter. But as far as Coach Brian being an NFL Hall of Fame coach or NFL coach, period, to come to a HBCU and coach, folks got to understand, man. You had Larry Little at Bethune Cookman that did it. It was a head
Mhm.
coach.
Mhm.
You had Ken Riley at FAMU was an NFL coach that came to my mentor. Steve Wilson was an
Mhm.
NFL coach, came from the NFL to HBCU. Doug Williams, NFL quarterback. So it's something that has been done. But I'm gonna say this, because I know this guy personally. I work side by side. He's a different guy. There's not too many Deion Sanders in this world. You know,
Right.
I work with a lot of great men, a lot of head coaches. He don't come in and degrade anyone, but he's gonna come in, like I said, to Muhammad Ali and say what he's going to do, what his team, what his program is going to do. He has a very, very strong belief. He's very spiritual. So he's not going to discredit your program. But one thing for sure, when he first, it's an issue, and always, even today, his main focus is to enhance the whole level of HBCU, not just Jackson State. When he came in, he wanted everyone to benefit from what we was doing and show you how it can be done. Because let's be honest, we don't like change, and once we understand, if you feed it, if you give resources, these are things that can happen. And that's all he wanted to do, is just show, like you said, shine a light on something as far as Jackson State, who was down for a couple of years. I mean, a great, great program overall for our tradition, the Walter Paytons, the Robert Brazils, but it was down, and it just needed someone to come in just to enhance it, to show what can be done if you do this, if you change this. This is what we can become. And in 2 years, I mean, that's what he's done. He's done an amazing job. Just to now, it still is going to create more opportunities for us, and that's what he's all about. Creating opportunities for the individuals as in-house, and hopefully it spills over to the Dancy's at Mississippi Valley, those guys, the Willie Simmons down at FAMU. So now people understand that some great coaches and some great football players in this conference.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing. One thing that how I even started this show was about talking about HBCU coaches.
Hmm.
And I started coaching back in the 80s. And
Yes.
they used to turn in a list. And
Hmm.
the list never contained no coaches from the SWAC or
Hmm.
from the MEAC or from the CIW black coaches. Period. They always were from the white A coaches.
Right.
And we've had coaches. I mean, my head coach was Lionel Taylor, who was a pro.
I heard about
Like
it.
you
Yes.
say, it's always happened. He brought a different flavor as well. But my protection was always, if we bring in, first of all, it's only one Dion.
That's right.
So right now, all the ADs is looking for another Dion. Whether
That's
it's, oh, you played in the NFL, yeah, you can come coach.
that's right.
Or you was in the Hall of Fame, you can come coach.
Ain't that easy?
So my thing would be to a young coach that's coming up through HBCU is, and I know he's asking, man, you mean to tell me if I haven't coached at a PWI or ain't a Hall of Famer plate, will I get opportunity to come and coach my alma mater?
Right. 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 Right.
That's the way they're feeling.
That's
Of
right.
course, I hear from all ends. I even get coaches from big Power Five coaches that's from running back coaches stuff,
Yep.
or even looking now at we might not get another shot.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So my thing is, let's protect these 20 Division One AA jobs.
Mm.
And I understand that you got to bring the right person in, but there's some guys, there's some fleas
Great coaches out there.
who can take, over a head job
That's
and
right.
actually take them to a championship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about the trend, man. Once there was a trend set, once Jackson State did what it did. Like you said, now there are other schools. I know we got the Eddie George at Tennessee State. We got the Hugh Jackson down at Grambling. So a lot of folks trying to follow that trend. But like you said, you got to find the right coach for the right program, and just do the right thing, and just give these young men. I know I sound like I'm old. I'm 50 years old, but give these young men an opportunity to blossom into this industry. I was fortunate to come up, man, and see some good things. I heard about Johnnie Cole, LC, and so a lot of things you and your brother was doing. I watched from a distance, and I kind of like put those things into my repertoire. When you hear about how things are done across the country, when you hear the success that a young black man is having, those days you hope don't go away, because it's a lot of hope. You got a lot of coaches, high school coaches, trying to become where we've been or where we are today. And like you said, they get into a panic attack. They don't know if they're going to just simply get an opportunity because of the way that the administration, how they're choosing individuals. But hopefully things go back to how it was, and the right man for the right job comes back into play, and then you'll see a lot of programs have success. You might have a coach last for a long time, a long tenure, if you find that right guy coming into the front door at the beginning.
Right, right. So that's just the thing that I'm afraid of Dion's success,
Hmm.
because I mean he knows how to do it. He had the right tools coming in. He had the toolbox. He had the game plan in the toolbox, and of course who he is.
Right.
When you look at Eddie George up at Tennessee State, they struggling.
They
They
struggle.
struggled real bad.
Yes.
And most coaches that at least I know came in the SWAC struggled. You had
Right.
L.C. Cole done well. Uh, you had Pete Richardson who done well. You had Broadway who done well.
That's right.
Everybody else struggled, you know,
Struggle.
coming into this conference.
Hmm.
So I don't want people to get ideal, and I think we've put that on ourselves. I remember when I was coming through, they called it the Chitlin League,
Yeah.
and guys that I would talk to during those days when they was at the PWI, man, I would never coach at there.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, everybody's trying to run
Good
back
job. Yeah.
to a black job.
Yeah.
Now, one, we are paying more.
That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
but number two, when there's 90% of athletic directors in all of college sports
Mm.
are white,
Hmm.
we ain't getting no jobs, coach.
It's tough. It's tough. It's
You know,
tough,
we
man.
ain't getting no jobs.
It's tough. You
And
got. Yeah.
here's the big thing.
You got it. You got
Everybody,
it. Right. Yeah.
Deion Sanders is going to a Power Five. He's going to be a Power Five head coach.
Hmm.
I know some. Do you understand that there's only two coaches that have left one double-A black college football?
Right.
One of them was white, one of them was Willie Jeffries, and the other one is Jay Hobson from Alcorn.
That's
He
right.
went Jay
Forgot about
Hobson
that.
to
Yeah.
Southern Miss.
Right.
He already had that job.
Right.
And Willie Jefferson's with the Wichita State.
That's right.
Now you had W.C. Gordon, 8 SWAC championships. Eddie Robinson, off the charts.
Never had a chance.
Rico Cassim,
That's
several.
right. Yeah.
L.C. Cole, first black coach to ever win all-white conference.
Billy Joe. That fan.
Billy Joe,
Yeah.
Florida A&M champion.
Yeah.
Rudy won the first national champion,
Rudy
the
Hubbard.
only national champion for
Yes.
Florida A&M.
Yes.
Didn't get to go.
Never had an opportunity.
Roy Broadway, he won championships in 2 conferences.
Two car. Right. That's right.
I've talked to some of these men. Bill Hayes, I've talked to some of these men.
Yeah.
Do
Mhm.
you know they ain't even get an interview?
That's crazy. That's amazing.
They didn't get an interview. Now
That's
here
amazing.
comes Deion Sanders.
That's amazing.
And I wish I could talk to Coach Sanders one of these days. Maybe you can get me in the door.
I definitely do my best.
I really want him to say, and he have said, and I think if it wasn't no Jackson State,
Mm.
man,
That's right.
would it really be a Deion Sanders?
He needed Jackson State more than Jackson State needed him. I'll tell you that. I think Jackson State reinvented Deion Sanders. Kind of got him where he is now, even outside of football, just from podcasting. I mean, everything that he's benefiting from is because of what Jackson State has given him, and he understands that.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. You're right on track with what you're saying. But it's tough, man. And that's why I'm so blessed, and it's probably the best I've been as far as peace of mind, knowing that I have someone that can take me places that I probably never could have gone. And that man, he looks just like me. And I can depend on him because he trusts me. The loyalty is there. It's like the friendship, and in this business, it's hard to find that, and I have that in someone, and I'm just thankful for it.
Right. And see, that's my thing. I'm a black college man, and
Yeah.
what the? What the? Oh, I'm sorry. Shoot, for some reason my thing blinked out. Can you still hear me?
I hear you. Hear and see you.
And that's what I want to say to the people.
Mm-hmm.
We are our own worst enemy.
That's right.
We don't love ourselves.
Right.
We don't love our black schools.
Right.
All my children, of course, I should say, of course, they end up following me to Texas Southern.
Right.
So until we realize black college football is important, and we've got a representative now in Deion Sanders. But once again, we giving all the credit to Deion, which he deserves his flowers.
Mm-hmm.
But if it weren't for no black colleges, man, none of us would get opportunities.
That's right.
And that's why I'm saying we're hollering about, and I like when he said, we keep on trying to make these guys who own these pro teams hire black folks when we should get black ownership. That's just a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go to the college level. And that's why had the opportunity, if I had the opportunity to talk with him
Mm-hmm.
and some other people of Empower, we need to be in front of the NCAA. We
There you
need to be in front of people who fund these state schools. When you got a school like University of Nebraska, who's never hired an African American coach in
go.
no sport,
Right.
and that ain't the only school.
Wow.
That's the platform, Gary, that we need to say, if we funding these state schools, why haven't you hired an African American on the sports end of it, not the academic part, the sports end?
Mm-hmm.
When we dominate the two major sports, basketball and football.
That's right. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's very much needed. I think that would change a lot of things if we get able to get put some perspective on that.
Right. And then when we don't hire people and put them in positions on our level, black
Mm-hmm.
people level, because you can't jump 9 times to 10 from assistant coach to a head coach. You can't jump from the back seat to start driving the car.
That's
You
right.
can, but you won't have all the tools and the know-how once you get behind that car to know when to brake, when to speed up, and you'll be better off if because I'm a traditional guy. I'm the youngest of nine boys, I've always been one of the ones you own your stripes.
There you go.
But so what's next for Gary Harrell? You behind one of the most popular football coaches, Eddie Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
L.C. Cole, of Broadway, of Pete Richardson.
Right.
What's next for Gary? Is it sit in that seat, or you just gonna ride this one out, or
You
because
know,
somebody should be looking at you now?
yeah. Well, I just want to see what happens, with the opportunity. I want to be a head coach again, but I want it to be the right situation.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that the program that I'm affiliated with, understand that the people, the staff that I bring, that they're well taken care of, they're comfortable, and that the administration, does a good job as far as the students when it comes to scheduling, when it comes to practice time, when it comes to meeting, when it comes to the training table as far as feeding them properly. I just want to be a part of something like that where I know they're serious about it, and so I'm just going to see what happens at the end of the season. Once we go through the conference championship, we're blessed to go to the Celebration Bowl and see if I'm able to get in front of some people and just have conversations. Because, like I said, I just want to get back to having a conversation and see, if I'm looking in your eyes, if you're going to look me back in my eyes and tell me what you have to offer. There's some things you can do, some things you can't do, but I just need to know going into the situation. So wherever I go, if I'm gonna be a head coach, I want to be there and retire there. I don't want to bounce around. I want to go and build that program and do the things that I think I was blessed to do. Or Coach Prime is a great guy that I love to be intact with. If he's here, if it's somewhere else, you know, that's part of my plan also to stay with someone that I trust that since I met him has been putting me on a path to some great things. So those are my two options, and whichever one provide the best thing uh, for my family when it comes to financially or whatever I feel comfortable with. If it's a great place as far as being able to win, because I want to win. I want to be able to take care of people. I like for God to bless others through me. So I just want to be in a position where I can just have all those things before me and just have a great chance as far as being successful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it seems like you getting a good shot of it,
Yeah.
and a lot of people asked, well, get Coach Prime. I said, well, I'm gonna get the man behind Coach Prime. It's the man behind the Coach Prime, and I've been a assistant head coach behind my brother, and
You know how it works.
you got to be there for them. That day they sitting up in there and they second guessing themselves.
That's right. That's right.
And you got to be there, be truthful with them. Be
Absolutely.
be truthful with them.
Absolutely.
Uh, so how did you meet, Coach? I thought maybe I knew you had played pro, so I
Yeah.
thought y'all maybe met that type kind of way.
Never, never met him. Never talked to him. Through a mutual friend. Prior to Coach Prime, I guess he's been thinking about it for a while. So I'll say maybe about 3 years ago when I was working at Alabama State as an assistant head coach, running back coach for Coach Ely. Through a mutual friend, uh, he called me and said Coach Prime is thinking about being a head coach on a collegiate level. I just want you guys to talk so you share some of your experiences, some things that you've done operational wise, structure wise, just to give him a feel of it. And I was like, fine, So we talked, and at that time he did more listening than talking. Because Prime, once he gives you his attention, he wants to hear from you. He wants to see if everything is what it is, and he's listening, he's taking notes, and that's when he's really trying to see if that trust or the information he's getting is what he really needs. So I just had a conversation with my maybe 2 or 3 times, and then it started picking up a little bit more and more. And I would say maybe after 2 weeks of conversations, um, he just say, man, if I ever become a head coach, I'd like for you to come be my assistant head coach. Come join me. And
Mhm.
we left it at that. But we stayed in contact, and then I went places to meet him when he was going to get his degree. Went to the ceremony, been to his home in Dallas. So it's just through a process of starting a conversation, information that I was given was validated. He started to trust me, and then to get before him, and of course being from Florida, that was the bonus part. 2 guys from Florida, he loved that,
Right.
and he stood on his word. When he got the opportunity, he called me. And my head coach at the time, a good friend of mine, Coach Ely, understood. I just felt like it's something I couldn't turn down. With a guy like him that did great in 2 sports, a Hall of Fame guy that does well in business, I just wanted to be around that to see where it would take me.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Coach, what was your degree at Howard?
I was in the School of Business, so I had a
Okay,
marketing degree.
okay, okay. I could tell the way you hold yourself. that,
Yeah.
that you brilliant. Yeah, you sound brilliant.
Appreciate
Uh,
it, man.
but man, it was a. I had a good time this past week when y'all came down to Houston. You
Enjoy it.
know, you showed me good love on the sideline. We sit and
Always.
talked for a little bit.
Much
Uh,
respect, man, for you.
y'all got after my Tigers. You know, for a minute, y'all let the crowd pour in from outside. Then y'all went to work.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Um,
sir.
Secure Sanders. Uh, uh, Man, I know his quarterback coach, Darrell Williams Jr.
Hmm.
His father and I were roommates in college. Matter of fact, he was my
Okay.
wide receiver.
Wow.
Uh, it seems like they got a great relationship,
Great chemistry.
huh?
Great chemistry.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Um, is he okay? Is he gonna be ready to go? He played kind of he wasn't his aggressive self last week.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. If he was still feeling the effects from the hit, but he practiced well. But I think Alcorn did a great job as far as disguise and bringing some different looks that kind of contribute to the way that he played and the way he looked because we didn't do a good job up front when it came to protection. But I think he's fine. He's still making the throws that he usually make. He understands the concepts and things we're trying to get done within the scheme. But yeah, I think he knows how to get down now. So I think that changes. He definitely get down. So we will always want to try to get him to encourage him in that part. But Shador, he's a strong young man,
Yeah.
and he understands what it takes to play that quarterback position. As we all know, that guy got to be the guy, and he's our leader.
So Gary,
Yep.
you've been a black college coach. What can we say to some of the black college coaches out there that's being overlooked,
Hmm.
that's not being respected because of the success that your boss is having?
Right.
I mean, uh, or what can we say to the athletic directors and the presidents on choosing their next coach?
I think starting with the ADs, I think they just have to give an opportunity for the young men just to be heard, be heard, be seen. And then once we as young black coaches get that opportunity, make sure you're prepared, make sure you're ready because that opportunity might not come back around again. For me, I knew I wanted to be a head coach. So when I moved around for different places, I always kept with me a portfolio. I took things from different coaches. So when I became an offensive coordinator, I had my playbook. When I became a head coach, I knew how I wanted to run my program. So you got to be ready before that time has come because for me I had to learn those things as I was going through it. But I was smart enough to put myself in the mind frame that I'm ready for. Win, lose or draw, I want to make sure I was ready for. So just make sure that you continue to build yourself. As you watch film, as you go through season, and get around people, get around someone like yourself, get around people that had success. So now you network because nobody's as hiring individuals just because who you are. It's about people that you know. So you need someone that's going to be a mentor for you. You need someone that's going to call in and say, okay, this is a guy for the job. So you got to have all those things in place, man. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is at this particular time. But hang around people, get around. Don't take a job just to take a job. Get on
Right.
a staff where you know there's someone that's trying to elevate, someone's trying to be offensive coordinator, someone's trying to be a head coach. So once you around that person, they see your work ethic. So now they pull you with you. You can't be around the same people that has values or goals less or equal than you, or you will never move. So just get around the right circle of people. Stay relevant, continue to press forward, and don't fall into the an unnecessary conversation where it cannot happen because I'm just a firm believer, man. If you stay up course and you understand you're a praying person, what is for you is for you. But you just got to be ready for when that time comes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's so true. That what you were just saying, you got to be prepared.
Yes,
The thing always get me is when I look at all the losing perennial losing programs,
yes,
and you see a guy like you, or a guy like me, a guy like some of these coaches that have won in the past. They don't go after them. They get a job to another young guy. And
that's
I
right.
think, if I'm talking to ADs or presidents, you got to give a guy the job who got some experience.
That's right.
And don't let money, because I know Mississippi Valley, I hit them a lot. They hire different guys because of money. Oh, well, we can't get him because of money. Well,
Right,
none of us coach really for money. As
right.
long as, the money will come when you do what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, man, I want to come see y'all play. I got to talk to y'all people so I get my media passes. I need to hurry up and get on top of that. But I'll talk to you outside of this.
Yeah, I got you. I
Your
got you.
last remarks, Coach.
Oh man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the platform, man. Like I said, I always admired you. I always watch how you move on and off the football field, man. And just to be a part of this is very respectful, from the heart. But man, I just feel, I'm just thankful for all the supporters, man, that seen and heard about the things that I was able to do. I was in a position last year, unfortunate situation that Coach Prime had, but it gave me a chance to enhance myself. And so I just want to continue to be who I am, stay humble, and hopefully that next step is a step that I've been waiting for a long time in my career. I've been coaching for over 20 years, so I just truly believe my next step is going to be the step that I find true peace.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to thank you too, man.
Absolutely.
From the day I've ever called you on the phone, and
Yeah.
we talked about jobs, and you've
Oh,
always been a first class individual.
appreciate it.
Guys I've talked to about you, it shows this conversation that we've had. And hey, man, you on your way.
I
Shit, hey,
appreciate
look,
it.
they should be knocking your door down. 11-0.
I hope
That
so.
don't happen, coach.
Uh,
And somebody got to be over there doing some coaching.
That's right. I appreciate that.
And I wish you guys luck since you ain't playing my alma mater. I hope you go ahead on and go 12-0.
That's right.
So,
Come see us, man.
yes, sir. I sure will. And I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, there you go. The assistant head football coach from Jackson State uh, University, great football program. And as he said, and I wanted to make sure we understood that if there are no Jackson State, if there are no black colleges, if there are no positions for black folks to put us on that pedestal, then there was no Deion Sanders. But Deion brought what he was supposed to. One of the things about is getting in the door, and when you get in the door, that you stay in the door. I'd like to thank you again for coming out and supporting me. As I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot, hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, November 21st, 2022. Number 1, Georgia Democrats scored a win with a judgment handed down Friday regarding early voting in the runoff election between incumbent Democrat Reverend Raphael Warnock and Republican challenger Herschel Walker. The Democratic Party of Georgia, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, as well as Reverend Raphael Warnock's campaign, challenged Georgia state law that it would be illegal to hold voting on Saturday, November 6th, the day after a state holiday. The judge also stopped the state from interfering in efforts to hold early voting Saturday, November 26th, or preventing any votes cast that day from being counted. Number 2, Mexican prosecutors have announced they have opened an investigation into the death of a black woman from the U.S. who was last seen being beaten in a video that went viral. Prosecutors in the state of Baja California Sur said in a statement they are investigating the death of a black woman they identified only as a foreigner at a resort development in the town of San Jose del Cabo. A state official who was not authorized to be quoted by name confirmed the victim was Shanquella Robinson. When her friends returned to their Charlotte, North Carolina home, they told her parents that she had died of alcohol intoxication. Number 3, as Americans head into the holiday season, a rapidly intensifying flu season is straining hospitals already overburdened with patients sick from other respiratory infections. More than half the states have high or very high levels of flu, unusually high for this early in the season, according to the government Friday. 27 states are mostly in the South and Southwest, but include a growing number in the Northeast, Midwest, and West. Number 4, a 22-year-old gunman opened fire inside a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs Saturday night, Sunday morning, killing 5 people and leaving 25 injured before he was subdued by patrons that are being described as heroic. He was arrested by police who arrived within minutes. At least 2 firearms, including a long rifle used during the shooting, were found at Club Q after the Saturday night attack. On its Facebook page, the club called it a hate attack. Police identified the gunman as Anderson Lee Aldrich, who was in custody and being treated for injuries. Number 5, in honor of this Thanksgiving week, it would be appropriate to talk about the importance of giving thanks. It's important to thank God in everything and for everything, for He is the foundation of it all. Your level of thanksgiving is rooted in the level of your belief in God and the faith that you have in Him. Read more about giving thanks in today's Ministry Monday in today's What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Be thankful for life's lessons. Thank you. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with Chris Paul, Huggy Lowdown, and Coy Malone. We're thankful for all of them as we discuss today's top headlines and more. To subscribe to my free daily What You Need to Know newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.